If only anyone had warned you guys that it was all a lie. Hi again, everybody. It's 5 o'clock now in New York. The man who once insisted he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose any of those people, his supporters, now appears determined to put that theory to the test. Because this afternoon, under the 10-ton weight of so many broken promises, too many to count, Donald Trump's MAGA coalition isn't just buckling. It's literally falling apart in public. It starts but does not end with what's going on in Iran. And yes, while most of the self-professed MAGA crowd have engaged in a month-long game of follow the goalposts, from no new wars to this isn't actually a war to, well, it might be a war, but there aren't any boots on the ground, to whatever the story is that Donald Trump tweets or posts or blurts out, a significant portion of non-MAGA Trump voters are coming to grips with that particular betrayal, among others, like the economy. Just open the newspaper or drive down the street, and here's what you will see. Financial markets and consumer sentiment dropping sharply. Then there's the price of gas. We don't have to tell you, it is soaring in one direction, up, 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 on the doorstep of spring and summer vacation season. And if you're into reading tea leaves and sneaky economic indicators, consider the state of Las Vegas. Quote, the high rollers are still rolling in, reports the New York Times. But for the tax brackets that don't usually fly by private jet, those budget-conscious customers appear to be staying away. It is a reality apparent even to prominent figures in right-wing media, people like the gentleman we showed you, right-wing podcaster Sean Ryan, what you just heard. Just today, former Fox News anchor Megyn Kelly shared yet another dismal and historically low poll for Donald Trump with her many, many listeners, describing it as a, quote, five-alarm fire, end quote. Meanwhile, another right-wing personality, Ann Coulter, posted this, quote, watching Fox News assure viewers that the Iran war is going super well and Trump is a total stud is like watching the same network assure viewers that Dominion voting systems rigged the 2020 election and that Trump was the winner, end quote. The top reply from Marjorie Taylor Greene to Ann Coulter was, quote, Fox News is now the fake news, brainwashing boomers to support what we voted against, end quote. A new analysis in The Atlantic puts it into context and perspective. Quote, the MAGA faithful are overwhelmingly sticking with the president, not so for everyone else. A number of new polls show that some of the voting blocs that helped power Trump's 2024 win have lost faith in him. His support among young people has cratered, so has his approval among Latinos. According to one survey, more independent voters disapprove of the president now than they did at any point in his first term. The broad coalition that put Trump back in the White House no longer appears to exist. So much for shooting someone on Fifth Avenue. That is where we start the hour with Princeton University professor.
What's unfolding right now looks less like a sudden collapse and more like the slow, inevitable unraveling of a coalition built on promises that couldn't hold. The idea that a political base is unshakable has always been more myth than reality. Loyalty in politics is rarely permanent, it's conditional. And when the conditions change, especially in ways that directly affect people's lives, that loyalty starts to erode. The most revealing part of this moment isn't that critics are speaking out, it's who those critics are. When voices that once amplified the message begin to question it, the shift carries a different weight. It suggests that the disconnect isn't just partisan noise, it's being felt internally. That kind of fracture is harder to manage because it can't simply be dismissed as opposition. At the center of this is a familiar dynamic, expectation versus reality. Many voters didn't sign on for ideology as much as they signed on for outcomes, lower costs, stability, fewer global entanglements. When those expectations collide with rising prices, international conflict, and a sense of instability, the reaction isn't abstract, it's personal. And personal disappointment tends to be far more politically potent than ideological disagreement. There's also a broader lesson here about how coalitions are constructed. When a movement pulls together groups with different priorities, economic frustration, cultural identity, anti-establishment sentiment, it can be powerful but also fragile. The moment those groups feel their specific concerns are being ignored or contradicted, the coalition doesn't just weaken, it fragments. What makes this particularly significant is the timing. Political strength isn't just about winning elections, it's about maintaining credibility afterward. And when credibility starts to slip, even small cracks can widen quickly under pressure. Economic signals, media narratives, and cultural voices all begin to reinforce the same perception. Something isn't working the way it was promised. Ultimately, this isn't just a story about one leader or one movement. It's about the limits of political branding when it runs headfirst into lived reality. And once that gap becomes visible, it's very difficult to close again.